Okay, so the embodiment of self-indulgently violent chaos, Carnage, apparently signed up to hench for some skull in a mirror immediately after he landed in Arendelle. And Skull Dude is searching for a dark-covered book called the Mundus Calcator for reasons. So that's interesting. Is it? That's the most interesting tidbit I could pull out of the last chapter anyway.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Meanwhile, the gang is searching for Eddie in the North Mountains because after Elsa saw his Venom form, he just assumed that she could never accept his dark uniqueness. So he flipped out and ran. They're chasing him. As Olaf points out, maybe his evilness doesn't come from badness. Maybe he's just misunderstood. Golly, makes you think. If you would like to send us fanfic submissions, fan art, questions, comments, you can email us at fanficnight@orderoftheleague.com. This is Fanfiction Theater, a celebration of naive writing in all of its foibles, in all of its flaws, in all of its... This is terrible.
Go to prison! Go to federal prison!
In all of its unintentional hilarity. People are going to unsubscribe because of this intro.
Sorry to all of our fans.
Chapter 7. A few minutes later, the group loaded Kristoff's sleigh and set off with Sven leading the way. There was a snowstorm brewing, but that was not going to stop them, especially not Elsa. She was on a mission to bring Eddie home and nothing was going to stand in her way. As the sleigh made its way out of the city, Elsa asked Kristoff,
"You know this land better than the back of your hand, so where do you think Eddie may have gone?"
Kristoff considered it for a moment and then replied,
"Well, chances are he'd head back the way he came, the North Mountains. I'm willing to bet he's hiding somewhere up there."
Anna then chipped in.
Anna Van chipped in. "He may also be on Carnage's trail, so we have to be darn careful that we don't run into him instead."
To which everyone nodded. Elsa sat and prayed silently that they found Eddie and not Carnage. She had her ice powers, but even then, she may not be any match for a monster like him. Although,
Does she?
Not to even try.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only there had been a chance to test this theory at some point.
Right.
As they ascended a small hill, she silently thought, which again implies that she has telepathic powers.
She silently thought. So I'm not. She silently thought, "Hang in there, Eddie. I'm coming," but I'm not going to say it because she's thinking it silently.
Got it. Okay. Meanwhile, Eddie was back at Wandering Oak's trading post. Ever since he left Arendelle, he fell into a state of deep depression. Villains like Venom were supposed...
Again, 5 hours ago.
Yes. Villains like Venom were supposed to be hated by everyone. And Eddie knew that. And for the longest time, he was just fine with that. Even before he became Venom, no one really liked him. That was nothing new to him. He could even recall getting beat up in school by all the other kids. But when he became Venom, the tables turned in his favor. He beat the shit out of those kids. He was able to harness all those years of hate and abuse and used it to his benefit. His pain became his strength. He loved being hated and feared. Causing mayhem was what he lived for. That was until he met Elsa. Well, why was he fighting Carnage in the beginning then?
Yeah, that's like Carnage's goal.
For some reason, she was able to bring out the best in him. She was able to touch a part of Eddie that he believed had died a long time ago. Oh, yeah. The strangest part about the strangest part about it was the fact he loved it. He loved her for it. It took meeting Elsa for Eddie to realize how lonely he truly was, yet she was able to... It took meeting Elsa for Eddie to realize how lonely he truly was, yet she was able to help him with that. Or she was able to help with that. We're just going to leave that sentence in the dirt.
Yeah.
But now she's gone. Eddie felt so hollow now. Every time he closed his eyes, he could still see Elsa smiling at him. But then the smiles would vanish, and Eddie imagined her looking at him with fear. He wouldn't blame her if she hated him now. Not at all. But, best not to ask her or anything. Nothing mattered anymore, for he had nothing to live for now.
Woohoo! Are you all right, friend?
There's no you in there, just to...
Oh, yeah. Are all right, friend?
So weird, the things that you automatically put in with this person just was like, meh. The giant Scandinavian clerk broke through his thoughts as Eddie remembered where he was and snapped back into reality.
Yeah, man, sorry about that. I was just remembering something.
Eddie lied as he pretended to go back to looking down the aisle.
Not a lie, you were remembering something. Oh, the lie is that he was sorry about that. He wasn't sorry.
Although Oaken saw through Eddie's lie, he figured it was best to leave it alone.
What?
Meanwhile, Eddie saw something.
There's no way he was remembering something.
I love how Eddie keeps being shocked that things in shops might be interesting. Meanwhile, Eddie saw something he actually was interested in. An acoustic guitar. Or at least that's what it looked like.
He actually was interested it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, sorry.
God damn it, Tristan, I caught it.
Okay.
Looking up to the clerk, Eddie asked him,
"Hey, how much do you want for this guitar here?" "For that old thing? No charge."
Jesus, everybody just gives everything away in this.
I know, he's not a good shopkeeper.
Oaken plainly replied.
He plainly replied. Anyone can tell. Really?
Eddie asked in disbelief.
"I've been trying to get rid of that thing for 3 years now. It has no strings and needs a little repair. If you can fix it, then you can have it." "All right, I'll take it,"
Eddie said as he picked up the instrument. Not too long after that, he left with his new possession and turned to his Venom form. Then he was gone. He shot out his web strands and swung through the air north into the mountains from whence he had come. He then landed...
He's going to string the guitar with his webs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come down on this author too hard, but it
the
still
from
pisses
whence
me off.
thing.
Yeah. He then landed on top of a plateau and looked down at the scenery. He could see everything. Tall mountains standing proud, the forest from where he'd come. But look right there, that's just fine. From where he'd come. But most of all, the city of Arendelle. Part of him wanted to go back down and try to work things out with Elsa, but he really believed she'd be better off without him. The temperature around him was dropping, so was his hope. He then whispered,
"You gave me a reason to love, but now I lost you. Goodbye, Elsa."
Then he continued his up through the mountains and was gone. He continued his up through the mountains. It was almost midnight when the group decided to call it a night. All right, yeah, this is a night. All right, let's call it. Kristoff and Anna were building a fire while Sven settled in for the night and had drifted off to sleep. Meanwhile, Olaf was doing his best to lift Elsa's spirits. Despite his best attempts, nothing Olaf did could make Elsa feel better as she sat on a nearby log. He eventually gave up on his normally entertaining shenanigans and propped himself next to her.
Of which the author could think of none.
Right, yeah.
He was being extra amusing that night for sure.
Yeah, sure. Amusing, I guess.
You know, that thing he does that's entertaining, he was doing that.
Right.
A couple of seconds went by before Olaf finally spoke up. So this whole time, he's been doing charade shenanigans.
Yeah, he's been doing mime stuff, yeah. And now, to be fair, I've seen Frozen, and I can't think of anything entertaining that Olaf did either, so. You know, this whole situation kind of reminds me of the time when we went looking for you up here.
That remark managed to grab Elsa's attention as she turned to look at him.
Why is that? Because we're up here looking for someone? I don't see the connection.
It's also the only interesting story. That's why it was the movie.
Yeah.
She asked him.
Well, like you, when everyone saw Eddie for who he truly was, he hauled butt.
He then shrugged and smiled.
He also is doing the same exact thing you did once you left the city. Going up to the North Mountain and all, I mean. Who knows he might even go up to the ice castle that you made.
This is, if you're just going to steal a plot, probably best not to point it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And
also,
over and over every
Venom,
chapter.
I'm just picturing Venom singing
Yeah.
and making a symbiote castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all black and drippy. You know.
I kind of picture it turning into like Ega, except in the ice rather than a desert.
Yeah.
Olaf lightheartedly joked. However, his joke gave the Snow Queen a sudden epiphany.
That's it.
She explained, causing everyone to jump and look at her. Even Sven was startled awake. Seeing she had everyone's attention, Elsa elaborated.
I know where Eddie is. Where?
Anna asked excitedly.
I'll explain everything on the way there, but we need to leave right now.
Okay. So Olaf is the snowman, right? And
Yeah.
Kristoff is Anna's husband or whatever at this point.
Boyfriend.
So who the hell is Sven?
Sven is the reindeer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Elsa cheerfully said with renewed strength. Kristoff quickly put out the fire and then proceeded to help the girls load up the sleigh. A few minutes later, Sven was pulling the sleigh up the mountains at a high speed. I guess that probably would have explained it.
In what direction? You didn't tell him where to go.
Up the mountains. At a high speed with Olaf standing in the back with his arms up in the air yelling,
It feels like I'm flying. Hey guys, why aren't y'all looking? Hey, oof.
As he was speaking, his body hit a tree branch, knocking him in half. Oh, God. His head managed to stay on the sleigh, but his lower half landed in the snow.
Yeah.
Hey,
that
lower
happens in the
body,
movie.
over here.
Olaf yelled, getting the attention of his body, causing it to chase after the sleigh. A couple of hours later, the sleigh... Who knows how that resolved? A couple of hours...
I mean, it probably isn't as fast as the reindeer running, so...
Yeah, we might just have a creepy fucking snowman head. It thinks it's really funny now. A couple of hours later, the sleigh made its... I'm surprised that Elsa's okay being in a sleigh after she had one chucked at her a few hours ago.
Yeah.
A couple of hours later, the sleigh made its way up the top of the North Mountain. Elsa's heart, which was already rapidly beating, began to race even faster as her ice castle came into view.
This is it.
She thought to herself as Kristoff parked the sleigh a few yards away. Once the sleigh came to a complete stop, Elsa jumped off and began running towards the castle.
Elsa, wait up.
Anna shouted as she tried to catch up with her older sister. As Elsa closed in on the flight of stairs going up to the front door of the castle, the Ice Guardian emerged from the snow and roared,
Who goes there? Wow, he's still here?
Figured he would have died alone.
Yeah.
Elsa thought to herself as she looked at the Guardian she created to originally chase off Anna and Kristoff a while back.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Kristoff muttered as he, Sven, and Olaf caught up to the girls.
Oh, so it was Elsa that didn't realize who. So Elsa brought him to life and then just abandoned him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To wander around in the wilderness.
Don't worry, Ice Guardian, it's I, Queen Elsa of Arendelle, the very person who created you.
The Ice Queen said with some authority. Looking down at his creator and mistress... Some authority. Looking down at his creator and mistress, the Guardian said with a deep voice,
Welcome back, my... Sorry. Oof, my voice is giving out. Welcome back, my queen. I have faithfully guarded your castle since you left, and no one has gotten past me but one.
he said with a hint of shame at that last part. However, the Guardian's news lifted the group's spirits. Eager to learn more, Anna asked,
Who was it? It was a large man who turned into a black monster with a symbol of a large spider on his chest. The Guardian answered. That's Eddie,
Elsa exclaimed. Still feeling the need to elaborate, the Ice Guardian finished by saying,
he called himself Venom, and when I tried to get rid of him, we broke into a huge fight. During the fight, I let the fact that I served the Ice Queen slip, and he instantly stopped fighting me, and he said he knew you. He then showed me a picture he had of you, mistress. He then told me that he fought for you back in the city of Arendelle.
Then we had some hot cocoa.
How do you let slip the fact that you serve an Ice Queen during a fight?
They just started having a random conversation as they're having a drag-out fight.
I'm going to beat you down as I do all intruders, for I serve the Ice Queen. Is he up there now?
Elsa asked him.
Yes, my queen. After he convinced me that he was loyal to you, we managed to work out an arrangement allowing him to stay the night here before he leaves the kingdom for good tomorrow. This ice golem,
the ice monster rent?
Yeah, this ice golem is a lot more articulate than I remember him being in the movie.
Yeah.
He's very like he's like exposition golem at this point, right? Anyway, madam, could you get around to murdering me as I do not want to live? A glimmer of hope shot through Elsa, knowing the fact that she finally found him. She was truly glad that they came looking for him that night and not the next day. She didn't even bother saying anything else before bolting up the stairs and through the front doors. As the front doors went flying open, she called out with all of her might,
Eddie, it's me, Elsa!
The others weren't too far behind her as they made their way in.
Let's split up. That way we'll find him faster.
Christoph
It's
reasoned.
a transparent castle.
Yeah.
Like, there's no secrecy in this place.
Christoph reasoned with everyone, including Elsa. He then began instructing everyone on where to search.
Elsa and Anna, you two go ahead up to the next floor and search there. Me and Sven will search down here, and if we don't find him, we'll meet up with you two upstairs. Olaf, you stay here and watch the door in case Eddie was gone somewhere and comes back. And then
like if he had to get groceries.
Yeah. And then at least we'll have someone here to find him. Olaf gave a corny salute and said, "You got it, buddy."
As the group split up, Elsa and Anna ascended the stairs to the upper level. When they made it up the flight of stairs, Anna suggested,
"Why don't I check the east wing while you check the west?"
Elsa nodded and said,
"Okay, but be careful, promise?"
Anna smiled and said,
"I promise. Now let's go bring Eddie home."
Which brought a smile on Elsa's face as the two of them parted ways and began their search. About 5 minutes later, Elsa was on the far side of the west wing to the castle and still searching tirelessly for Eddie as she continued calling out his name, hoping to get a response.
"Eddie, where are you?"
I like how he says things and then shows them to you, just in case you didn't. It's like Carnage laughing and then ha 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 ha.
Right.
She hollered.
You know what ha 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 was.
She hollered as she went from room to room searching for him. Eventually, she heard something that sounded like music drifting down from another corridor.
That's gotta be him.
Unless it's one of my other creations that I forgot about and left to die alone.
Right. Also, I don't think ice is known for being like soundproof or anything, so you should be able to just yell and like anywhere in this place you'd hear it.
Well, apparently he's cranking his music and probably like throwing in some reps, you know? She thought as she began walking quickly down that corridor. The music was getting louder, so she must be closing in on the source, closing in on Eddie. Meanwhile, Eddie was playing on the acoustic guitar he got from Oaken. He had always been a skilled guitar player, and just as skilled when it came to working on and repairing them. He knew how to play a whole cornucopia of songs on guitar. But, but one of his favorite acoustic songs of all time was Hollow by the band, Godsmack. And that was the exact song he was playing as he sat alone in the elaborate castle bedroom. As he sang and played the song on the guitar, all of the memories of Elsa and losing her flashed through his mind. He was so in tune with the music and the memories of the one woman he loved, and so deep in his sense of hopelessness, knowing that he lost it all, that he didn't notice Elsa was standing by the bedroom door listening to him play. The song he was playing was unlike anything that she'd heard before. No doubt it was the heavy metal music that he was so fond of back in his homeland. Christoph had even learned to like some of this music ever since Eddie introduced it to the group a while back. Well, if he introduced it to the group, then she's heard it before.
Yep.
Right.
Even on the way up the mountain, Christoph was listening to Eddie's MP3 player that he left behind. Jesus Christ, and she's heard it many, many times. Although she was right in the fact that the song was metal, it was a lot slower and even sadder. Especially the way Eddie was playing it made her heart melt. She wanted nothing more than to run.
It's not heavy metal, it's dark metal, okay?
Okay, they had their earlier black metal period, but seriously, that's not even canon anymore. She wanted nothing more than to run into his arms. However, she waited for him to see her first. At this point, Eddie was bringing the song to a close. As he finished it, he set the guitar down and bowed his head and bowed his head in defeat. Whenever he sung the line,
"I feel so hollow,"
he truly meant it.
Oh.
They also haven't clarified how he mixed the guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Elsa probably didn't make ice guitar strings in this castle here. So he probably did use his web, but he didn't specify something.
I want to assume that Venom got the guitar, went outside, immediately slaughtered a reindeer, took the guts, and made strings out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He set down the guitar and stood up from the edge of the bed that he was sitting on and turned around. When he first saw the Snow Queen standing inside his room, a part of him thought it was a dream or some cruel joke.
"Hello, Eddie,"
Elsa said as a true smile of happiness came across her face. And then the true smile of happiness. Without saying a word, Eddie ran across the room and scooped her up in his arms, and he bit her head off. He couldn't help but laugh from how joyful he was feeling, knowing that he'd never truly lost her. Elsa also giggled from giddiness as Eddie pulled her close in a tight embrace. Then, without saying a word, their lips met. The kiss was everything Elsa thought and hoped it would be like. It was slow and passionate, and she couldn't help but feel like there were fireworks going off over their heads.
Oh my God.
A few moments went by before they gently pulled their heads away from one another, yet still in one another's arms. One another. Eddie then brushed a strand of hair away from Elsa's face and asked,
and then another.
"How did you find me?" "Christoph figured that you'd go the way you came to Arendelle in the first place, and I knew from experience you'd be up here,"
Elsa said as a joyful tear.
I knew from experience that this author can't write anything original, and therefore...
Right.
Elsa said as a joyful tear rolled down her face. As the two held one another close in their embrace, the others made their way up and found them. Anna smiled and said softly,
"It's about time."
You can't say "said softly" and then put an exclamation point at the end of your sentence. To which Christoph softly ushered everyone away and jested,
"Let's leave the new lovebirds alone, huh?"
Yeah, that's a funny joke, Christoph. But as they left to give them some privacy, Anna couldn't stop smiling as she thought,
Finally, she has someone that can understand and appreciate her.
Woof.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause she couldn't, being her sister and all.
Yeah.
That was like
No, I don't have to.
Yeah.
Finally Kristoff and I can have some free fucking time. Jesus.
Right. Also,
That was-
are they going to start banging on the ice bed in that bedroom?
Yeah.
Would Elsa care? You know, I mean,
Elsa wouldn't care. Venom probably could handle it. So I suppose.
I mean, if he's suited up,
Right.
But yeah, it's like that chapter. He obviously was like wanted to be like the Crow or whatever, right? Be
Yeah.
like, you know, this sad emo love for you.